Okay, so hello and welcome back to the channel. And this is where we left off. It's pretty functional, but not really. One thing that I would like to change is the styling, of course. And my default solution when it comes to styling is to use style components. So let's insert these style components. But since we're working in TypeScript, we also have to install the types for style components. And some libraries have the types built in, and some, since, for example, they're written in TypeScript, but other has the types as a separate package. And that's what we're going to install right now. And we will focus on styling and obscuring the input for now. Okay. Later we'll add the validation part, and we will add the buttons and the model part, but this will be in the next episodes. Yeah, just sign packages. Oh yeah, actually takes some time. So if you're not familiar with style components, this is a CSS in JS solution. We use it in a very large project, which is used by millions of people every day. And I can guarantee that this solution is performant enough to handle even really big projects and stuff. Yeah. That's how living as developer looks like. And it seems that for any reason, TypeScript has an issue with types for React. No idea why this is happening, but I've seen this before. So let's just fix this by installing types for React. This happens sometimes. I don't know why. Yeah. More installation. Okay. And reinstalling the types for React solves the problem. So let's make our pin input a little bit more sexy. So I'm gonna create pin.component.ts, and basically this is the name of the file, the naming convention I use whenever I'm producing styles using style components. I try to keep them separate from the code of given component itself. So let's import style from style components. And export. Let's create styled pin input here. It's going to be styled input. As you can see, we have all the HTML tags that you know and like predefined in style, and also, as you can see here, types are working correctly. So let's define our styles. These are backticks. So just for you to know, these are backticks, not the semicolons, right? Watermark here. Let's make it square. let's give it a border. And we'll default the border to, I believe this is C3, C3, C3. Should be nice gray color, right? Font size 12 pixels, text align, center. And let's use it. So here's our input, and I'm going to change it to pin child pin input. Thank you. Sorry for that. And fails. Cannot resolve to no. Yeah, maybe we installed the package while the script was running. Let's try restarting it. Let's try restarting it. And that works like that, right? Yeah. Okay, that's good. Let's that. Now what we can actually add is a little bit of margin, so it's not so close to each other. Okay, now it's a little bit separated. That's better. And this is looking just really good. The problem is it's not obscured in any way. It's not secure. So you might think is the good approach, and sometimes it is, provide type password, right? That's good, but if I click right here, I can see suggest password, show all saved password. It behaves as an input for a password, while I know that behind the dot is just a simple number. Maybe there's a better way. Of course there is. We can use what's called dots font df, and this is a font that has all characters turned into dots. Okay, so let's add that to our project real quick. I have that downloaded. So open that, and I'm gonna add it right here to my project. And now there's a matter of defining it and adding it properly to our code. So we need to define the font face. Do that in the CSS file. How do you font face? Right. Let's see. Then you need the. I don't really remember that. Let's see. Font face TTF. It's like whatever. Okay, the font family. It's one thing that we need to specify. It's gonna be dots font. I believe. Dots font. Okay, that's good. Then we have to specify the URL and the format. So that's that. URL is going to be dots font TF unknown word because that's src. Okay, so we're specifying the font that's called dots font, and we're providing the URL that should point to this file, and we're specifying the format to be TTF. Let's see if that is going to work. Hope so. Font family, it's just dots font, right? And also have to remove the type here. And now we have beautiful, wonderful, marvelous dots without using the type password. So what I did, I downloaded the dots font TTF file. You can find it here, right? Then I specified that font face in the CSS file, and then I used it here. Well, we could have specified it somewhere else, like site components has a mechanism called global styles, but that's fine for now. So now we have the input that is being abstracted. It looks kind of good. Let's talk about validation here for a little bit, because common scenario is that you have that pin and you send it to an API to validate. So we're not going to build an API, but we're going to mock it real quick with use of timeouts and promises. So I'm going to just create API TS file. I'm going to create function validate input that's going to take input as how do we want to check it? Assume the number. Well, actually not a number. It has to be a string because the pin, the valid pin, in my understanding, is something like that, while you can't really put an equal sign like this, right? So we have to convert it to a string. So that's gonna be a string. And now we don't need that. We're going to define our valid pin, and let's say that's gonna be 66666, number of the beast, right? And then I'm gonna return a promise, resolve reject, right, and I'm gonna set timeout. I'm gonna set it for 2.5 seconds. And then in here, if the input is generic name pin to check there is equal to valid pin, then we can resolve with pin is valid, else can reject with invalid pin message. Okay, that that looks good enough for me to actually mock basic API. Right, so how do you check it? I'm just gonna create a button. Let's say validate. And on click, we are going to call validate pin function. But this is going to be an async function because we're working with promises here. Let's see. Await validate pin, and this is gonna be just our pin joined nothing, or we don't even need to specify that. The problem here is what? Expected 0 arguments but got 1. But why? This is validate input. Sorry, of course I was calling it wrong. The validate input. Okay, now join. Import that, please. Okay, well, let's do this by hand. Because it's validate, of course it is. Join. Yeah, let's see what we get. So that's that. Open the console and okay, we are getting an error. It's good. It's what you might expect from your API. But if we provide 6666, that's wrong. Six 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 six. Okay. And we are providing six 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 six. Oh, because by default this is joined with the commas, right? So I'm going to do that and do that. And let's try that again. It's valid. Okay, that's good. That's good. In the next episode, we will actually handle that error, and we will use it to store the information whether the pin is correct or not, and change some stuff about how our input pin grid, how our UI looks based on the validation result. And I will see you there. Goodbye.